Welcome to Subramani. Uh, I'm going to talk about resolutions. I know February is not a great time to be talking about resolutions. This is the time when people are giving up on their resolutions. But let us come to some very important resolutions which you may have made. Let me push you to really implement that. So first is, many people don't complete their 80C contribution for whatever be the reasons. They forget or things like that. If you have a surplus and if you are anyway investing 10-15 lakhs a year, what is the harm in putting 1.5 lakhs in PPF? Or putting into some insurance policy which you don't want to give up, or an ELSS or your own provident fund, something. Make sure that whole 80C and 80D as much as possible is exhausted. And I know of a girl who did her 80C investment but forgot to tell her CA about it, and therefore it went unclaimed. So don't do these things. Don't make such basic errors. If you have investments, you have to tell your CA to file to include it in your return, or if you're filing a return yourself, very good chance that you will include it. But don't make an investment and forget to include an 80C. This is very shocking, and I've seen it a few times. So if you don't make such mistakes. If you're not a great DIY, then better go to a CA and file your return. Some people are good at it, some people are not good at it. I'm not good at it. I prefer that my return be filed by my chartered accountant and not by me. It's very simple, it's straightforward. There could be some business income, but I need somebody to file my monthly GST returns, etc. I prefer giving it to a professional, because I know I will not do it with the diligence with which that girl in my chartered accountant's office does it. So I prefer something diligent being done, so I prefer giving it to her. That reminds me, the second resolution is none of us like to think that we are mortal. But last week I attended 2 funerals, both people around 70. One were just completed 70 and one had about 8-9 months to go to complete 70. We also saw the death of Lata Mangeshkar at 92. So when a 70-year-old sees the death of a 92-year-old, they're not really prepared for their own death. And so that can be something very let's all be prepared for our death. So in terms of making a will, or I know 2 people now, or 3 people now who have special children who need a lot of care in terms of managing their money. One of them has died and he has made no arrangements at all for the child. Of course, his wife is still alive. I have not yet met her. I am going to talk to her about it. But if there are some special things which you have to do, which your other half can't do, or if you have a child who needs special attention and care, make sure that you do something about it. Don't just don't just assume that somebody will come and take care, it will happen as per his fate, etc., etc., or her fate. Don't get into these things. If you have children who have got special needs, please take care. If you have a spouse who has special needs, please take care. Make sure that if your spouse has special needs, that you move into a geriatric care center and live there, so that if you die, somebody will take care of your spouse. If you have children, make sure that you leave adequate money for the children, more as a compensation for looking after your spouse who has special needs, right? So please look at all those things while you are awake, alive, and we are in the February of 2022, rather than wake up in November and say, oh God, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that, or your wife has to handle it when you are not around. Please don't make the mistake of not providing for people who are special needs, right? So do that. Make sure that you have your insurance policies reviewed. Having an insurance policy when your children are younger or children were younger makes sense. You took some term insurance, maybe you took some unit-linked policies also, but keep looking at it on a daily basis. Suppose you've got some ESOP, suppose the markets have done well, you have done very well, you have a house, you have a portfolio, and you realize that your spouse and your children together will not need that kind of let's say you've created a net worth of 20 crores for yourself, and you sit down and calculate with the toughest calculators with a good financial planner that your wife needs about 3 crores or 4 crores to live. You already are in excess territory. You know, maybe a couple of crores will go for your children's education, child's education, whatever. So you don't need beyond 3 to 5 crores, right? Maybe you have maybe 6 crores as an outer limit, but you have 20. So do you need your term insurance? No, it's time to give up on your term insurance. You do not need term insurance. Yes, you bought it, that time you needed it, your children were young, but now your children are say 20 years of age or 19 years of age, you have funded their education, everything is over, so you don't need. Your wife, you thought, will not earn, but she's doing some work and she's earning let's say 30,000-40,000 rupees a month. Your household expenses are 50,000. Right, so which means she is adequately provided and she has an activity, she is earning her money herself. She does not need your insurance policy. Your children don't need your insurance policy, and if it's a term insurance, it's anyway not building any great value. Time to give up your insurance policy. So do that. Also understand that you make your goals and then you have to monitor what is happening, right? So that gap between what you think should happen and what is happening is called discipline. And I keep saying this to people, think of yourself as a professional. Okay, now what happens, what I'm trying to say is, suppose you have a resolution that you will go to the gym every alternate day, maybe 4 days a week. So you will get up in the morning, 5:30, you will hit the gym. That's your resolution. Now what happens is, sometimes you get up and you're a little lazy, or you have a slight headache or a stomach ache, and you decide that you will not go to the gym today, and it says kal jaunga aaj nahi jaunga, right? That kind of a thing you decide. But what happens is, suppose at the same condition you had a business meeting at 9 o'clock, you were slightly upset, your stomach was slightly upset, or you had a slight headache, and it was an important meeting, you'd still go for it, right? You'd still go for the meeting. You may not eat at the meeting, you may drink some tea, you may have take some medicine, but you'll still go for it, because that is your profession. In your profession, you don't want any compromise. You don't want to say, oh, I have a stomachache, I have a headache, I can't attend a meeting. If it's an important meeting, you will make sure that you attend. I am talking of an offline meeting. Whereas in your running or in your going to the gym, you are not a professional. You think, oh, what will happen if I don't go one day? That is the gap between achieving good results and achieving results at all, right? So if you have to achieve results, you might as well achieve good results. So think of yourself as a professional athlete, and you get up in the morning and you have to go to the gym. You don't have a choice. That's your profession, right? That's what you do when it comes to your job. So even in your fitness, think of yourself as a professional, and then you will be able to achieve your goals much better. Keep looking at the need for money for your children. Now suppose you had expected that your son or daughter will do medicine, and you had provided for a lot of money, but you instead, your daughter decides that she will do CA, chartered accountancy. Clearly you have saved a lot of money, which means a lot of money will not be needed when she is 20 or 21. She's already started her CA, she'll get paid, so you are not going to require any cash flow at all. Exams are not very expensive, and she'll start getting a stipend, so there is no reason at all. So you could realign that money and put it in a fund which is for your retirement, or you should realign and say, I know her education is not costing me much, but her marriage could cost me, so I will still keep it in the same thing, because she might get married in 3-4 years. I know I don't require it when she is 21, but I may require when she is 24, which is just 3 years away, 4 years away. So I'm not reallocating too much. I mean, I'm not changing the debt equity ratio, asset allocation ratio I'm not changing, but I need to change this. So keep looking at it. Or if it is different, you thought your daughter will do commerce, instead she's talking of taking science, she's in class 9, you know that medical education is not cheap, and it is just 3 years away for you, right? After 12th class, she'll do her MBBS or whatever she wants. I mean, assuming she goes into medicine, person, MBBS, MS, MD, or leading up to DM. So she's going to study for the next 12, 13 years. You need to provide for that. At least for the first 5 years, you need to provide for that. After that, she might get some stipend or scholarship, right? So you need to provide for that. Make sure that you are aligned perfectly in your portfolio for your short-term goals and your long-term goals, right? You have resolutions to give charity. Check out whether you're giving the right charities to the right people, or is it going haywire. Go and check once in a while what's happening. So however you're doing charity, and I find people doing charity in very, very many different ways. For example, somebody, a friend of mine, employs more people than he actually needs, and he says, it's okay, I can afford to do that, and anyway my children don't need my money, so it's okay to be less efficient in my business. That's one way of doing charity. He picks up a lot of young people who may not get a job elsewhere, trains them well, and makes, like I say, makes a man out of a boy and makes a woman out of a girl. Sends them all over the place, takes them for client meetings, teaches them how to make notes. He just believes that that is his way of giving back to society. See how much more you can do for charity, or what else you want to do for charity, how you want to do it. Very important thing, this should have been resolution number 1 to be kept, is make sure that a lot of your investments are in writing, that your family knows why you're investing, your wife and children know what you're doing. If you are a woman and you're handling, make sure that your husband and children know what you're doing, right? So having all those things in place is, it may not be part of your resolution, but it is always nice to do all those things. Keep it in writing, make your will, right? All those things. I think I am at the end, so thank you.